Hey, ladies and gentlemen, this is Sugar Rabbit John coming at you with a Raid Shadow Legends video. Today, I am joined by one of my good friends, Mad Capper. Capper, thank you so much for coming on the channel. I definitely appreciate you taking time out of your day to come join me. How you doing today? How you doing?
I'm doing good, my friend. I'm doing good. How are you?
Doing great. It's fun. Me and you don't get to do a whole lot of collabs because we're always playing different games. Obviously, we've gotten along for years, and I thought, it'd be really cool to have you on the channel. And let's go ahead and let's just talk about in general. I've been away from Raid Shadow Legends for so long at this point. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what's up from down. I'm a little lost. I'm looking for Mad Capper to kind of point me in the right direction, help me out a little bit. And what better way to go ahead and kick off Raid Shadow Legends content than with my good friend Mad Capper? So with that being said,
Absolutely.
let's go ahead and get into it. Where would you start? Where would you start?
Well, gosh. I think the first thing to talk about is how much stuff has been added to the game since you left. Functionally
Okay.
speaking, there are a lot of key core components as far as gameplay. And the good news is a lot of those core components can be done with champions that may feasibly be on your account. The
Okay.
bad news is there's a lot of good champions that have been introduced that make it easier. So
Gotcha.
uh let's talk about the first one. Let's talk about the altar of souls, because that's probably the biggest and most
Okay.
important thing that has been added to the game. Actually, probably not even. Actually, we're going to take one step back. I forgot how long it's been for you, Trig. I'm not going to lie. We got to go to the Guardian ring first, because I don't think Faction Guardians was around when you first started, right?
Oh, you're right. It wasn't. And I
Yeah.
think this
So
was in the process of like being released right as I was like
yeah,
walking or like had 2 feet out the door. So I think I did a little bit of this, but
yeah.
I don't know that
Right.
I
So
even
we
went back
can
in
we
it.
can qu- we can do the quick and dirty with this. It's pretty easy. The most important thing is to get the numbers, to get duplicates of champions and put them into each of the categories for each of the factions, right? So
Okay.
you don't necessarily need rares. What I've done is I've only done rares for those key ones. So you have a ton of rares. I wouldn't bother with that.
Okay.
What I would do, because it only improves the ability of those of rares in that faction.
Gotcha.
So
Okay.
Cold Heart, yeah, Dark Elves fill up your faction.
Yep.
If you're using Painkeeper, fill up Dark Elves, those sort of things. But I wouldn't go ahead and fill up all of them unless you're actually functionally using a rare of that ability, just because the amount of room you have with so many new champions coming in the game gets a bit tough. So that's kind of the first area I would talk about. But other than
Okay.
that, you got it going pretty well. Uh,
Okay.
you're Again, it's just a nice way to use your duplicates. Now, the next piece of that is the Empower Champions on the left side there.
Okay.
This one is something you should probably tiptoe through right now, given your account. You're still filling out your faction wars, but if you have a faction wars that has been completed, so you filled it up,
Yep.
and you don't plan on using a legendary champion for anything else, like for example, I wouldn't use your Kymar, because you could use 3 Kymars before you should start leveling
Before.
up more, right? You have your
Yeah.
3. If you get a 4th,
Hmm.
that's where you're thinking, okay, now it's time to maybe start leveling up, and +1, +2, +3
Okay.
your
Gotcha.
champions, and that's what you do here.
Okay.
Okay,
And that makes
so
sense. So basically,
yeah,
duplicates here. Obviously, keep 3
yes.
of for like arena, tag team arena, or Hydra boss, that kind of stuff. But anything more than that, I should be kind of feeding into, like kind of like Blood Gorge down
Yeah, and
here.
it depends. Yeah, it depends.
Okay.
For example, are you going to use more than one Verdi the Bold? I like a nice. I call him Verdi the Bold. Nice shout out to Verdi, who's been probably gone longer than you have. But are you going to use 3? Probably not. So you have 2 in Faction Guardians, which is nice because it shows you the little banner above their
Yep.
affinity. That means they're in the ring. So
Yeah.
you can't, so you don't want to put them in. But that third one, if you wanted to, you could
Okay.
unlock them and do it. Now, I'm not going to tell you to do it right now. Before you do that, I want to go back to Faction Guardians.
Okay.
So let's go back to Banner Lords before you do that, because this is something I made a mistake, and this is an opportunity for you to not make a mistake on.
Okay.
So you notice how you have them all open, right?
Yeah.
Verdi's nice, but you're probably never going to use Richter. For anyone who doesn't know, you're probably not going to use one of them, right? You don't
Yeah.
really use them, and maybe in Faction Wars. Whereas I see you have Raglan, and Raglan is still absolutely very viable in this game. So
Okay.
before you decide to use a Richtof and +1 him or +2 or whatever,
Yeah.
you may want to consider, just in case you get a fourth one, and then you can replace someone like Baron or Raglan out of the
Okay.
ring so that you can +1 them. So always make sure your best bet is to have your ring full of champions that you're just not going to use, so that you can +1 through +4 the champions you are going to use. And I see,
That makes
like
so much
Baron, you
sense.
may want to do 2. I have a Baron. I probably would +1 him before using 2, just because he's such a hard
Okay.
hitter, but I don't find a lot of use. So there's a good example. If you could remove Baron and replace him, then you can +1 your Baron for additional attack and HP and the rest of the likes, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So
No, that's a good tip there. I never would
yeah,
have thought of that. I would have made the same mistake you just said, and then got
yep,
back into it and be like, oh crap, this champion needs a little bit more of a boost. Oh, they're in my faction. Okay. Yep.
yeah,
Good tip. I
and
like that.
absolutely, I learned the hard way. So I have a +1 blind seer, and I'm like, I could have used, because I pulled another blind seer, and I could have used that in Faction Guardians, pulled someone out of Dark Elves, and gotten that +1 the other way. So
Yep.
just an easy way, just a little kind of what for. But then what's going to happen is your best champions are the ones you're going to power here. So
Okay.
like, for example, you have Baron. Baron is the hardest hitting nuker in the game right now after his buff.
Okay.
So he's an absolute monster. So if you can ever get that opportunity, that's a guy you're going to want to +1,
Gotcha.
And I would say that arena champs, Hydra champs are probably your first ones to plus bonus, because it's just going to make the content easier. Okay.
Okay. Yep. No,
All right.
that makes
So
total sense. Okay. Awesome.
yeah. So it does take some opportunity to kind of shuffle through the Faction Guardians first, but once you get there, you'll start doing it. And depending on how free to play and how lucky you get, it may happen quicker or not. Going
Nice.
to Guardian Ring for one more thing, we should talk
Okay.
about Unbind and Token Trader. Unbind is the ability to turn a champion into tokens, and the
Okay.
Token Trader is the ability to buy champions. The
Ah.
only time, and again, learn from my mistake. I bought a Foley when it first happened, so I unbound enough champions, and they're 500 a pop, to get a Foley so that I could +4 my Foley.
Yeah.
I now have a +4 Foley and a +2 Foley because I keep getting dupes. It doesn't stop you. So unless you're absolutely like, Tomb Lord is very good for solo content and for farming in dungeons. And
Mhm.
if you don't have one, maybe you could argue that. But I would really think twice before using the Token Trader, because it's
Okay.
really a high expense and probably not worth it. Okay.
Gotcha. Okay. And that makes sense. Yeah. Because I was curious about that. Because, like, for example, I don't have a Tomb Lord, and I've heard he is kind of nice to have on some of the new content.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So that's the thing. Like, if you have champions, like, again, you have that triplet Richtof.
Yeah.
Maybe you unbind him. You get 500 for each, so you need 6 champions to unbind. But if you have 6 of those champions, they're not very strong. Oh, you get 500, right? You get a
Yeah.
500 to start, so that's good. So you need 5 of them. And if you have 5 champions, you're like, well, I don't use them. They're a duplicate. Well, they're not a duplicate. They're a triplicate. They're a
Yeah.
third. Let's do it. And
Makes sense.
I wouldn't argue against Tomb Lord, but pretty much. And then Fushan, if you want to do certain unkillables, Fushan's really good. But honestly, there's so many different combinations of Fushan or unkillables without Fushan. I don't know if it's really
Yeah.
worth it. So really, Tomb Lord's the only one there that
Okay.
I would say. All right,
Awesome.
that's a Spark Guardian Ring, quick and easy.
Nice.
And so now we can go to the Altar of Souls, because this is
Okay.
probably the most important.
That's
So I see you've already
what I
done some
get.
Soul Collection.
A little
Okay.
bit. I don't know. I had some resources. I hit the summon button. You know how it is when you have a few drinks. So
Yes, I've been told, not myself. So right now
exactly.
you have 21,720 of the tokens.
Okay.
I don't remember what they're called. What are they called? The Immortal Soul Coins.
Yeah.
And you
Moral
have
support.
what, 800 of the Immortal Soul Coins.
Yes.
So the most efficient way to make use of this is use your Immortal tokens to buy the next up of the, I don't even know what they call them now, essences, and use the Mortal Soul Coins to buy Soul Stones. So you can do that right now. You get a
Oh,
ton. So go to
how
the
do I do that?
Mystic Market on the
Okay.
right hand side there.
Yeah.
So you see the Mortal Soul Stone? They're
Yep.
1,000 each. So you can actually buy, there's nothing else to spend those on. So that's, you hit that and just buy all 21.
Okay.
Perfect. You got 20 more soul stones. Now, I wouldn't buy the immortal soul stone. It's not, the value isn't there. Your better value is to buy the immortal soul essence with them, because that's what you can buy in the soul merchant. So I would go ahead and do that now.
Okay. So you're saying do these, buy these.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So now you have 16 of those. Now, if you go to soul merchant, then you can see they cost 20 for 1 star, and they go up. So the most expensive is for example, I have a Helicath that's a 6-star, I have a 5-star, and there's a 6-star in the market right now, and it's 300 of the eternal soul essences. And you get the eternal soul essences by trading in the eternal souls. What are they called? The eternal soul coins. And those are a little bit harder to get. You have to get them from the soul collection, basically eating up your tokens that you're not going to use, the souls that you're not going to use. Okay?
And this
so
shop
that's the first
looks like it refreshes. So this is going to keep changing
twice a day. Yep, every I think every 12 hours it refreshes.
Oh, nice.
And it refreshes not when you go in like the market. It refreshes at a set time, I'm pretty sure. So we're both sitting at 3 hours 5 minutes, even if we look at it at different times.
Gotcha. Okay. Makes sense.
So yeah, so the soul merchant is the kind of the second way to get souls, and you're going to want them specifically. You typically don't want to buy it unless it's for something that is absolutely your top hitter. Again, similar to talking about the empowerment.
Yeah,
this is where you want to level up your nukers for arena and Hydra, and I would add to that any content that you are without it having problems completing. So, for example, say you're at hard Hydra, you're completing hard Hydra, you can't quite hit brutal, and then you see a 3-star soul come in for one of the champions you're using in Hydra. Absolutely, better stats, better damage means better key, right? So that's where I kind of always say, but be very picky. I have not always been picky, and I kind of regret some of the purchases I've made. But overall, that's what you want to use that. Now the soul collection tab, these are the ones that you've pulled, and you see there's a little crown. The crown means you have those champions, or the little helmet means you have those champions, and no helmet means you don't have those champions. Now I made the mistake of leveling up, like as an epic would come in, I would just use it on that epic. I don't recommend that. I actually recommend only the champions that you're absolutely certain that you're going to use and that could benefit from it. For example, if it's a faction wars champion, they don't need to be blessed. They don't need the blessing. If it's your arena nuker, they absolutely need to be blessed. So so for example, all my rares I always feed, and actually most of my epics I always feed, and that just gives you more. See, you getting those coins? That just gives you more of those tokens, which then you can use to get more souls, which then improves. So I think the only ones, maybe Cormac, which is that 2-star, I think you might want to keep. Infernal Baroness, I don't know why you'd want to keep her. She's not that good. Your legendaries, I mean, I don't keep all of mine, but those are 2 pretty good legendaries, so you can hold on. I'm sitting on a 5-star Leorius without Leorius, so absolutely you can sit on stuff as much as you want. But just know that that's how you get those more of those.
Tokens, so you get more soul.
Yeah,
so I might as well sell these and.
Yeah. So then you go. The last part is why don't you go to summons Soulstone summon so we can do some awakens. You got 21 here. You might as well crack them and have some fun. There's no 2 times or anything like that.
Gotcha. So it doesn't
also,
matter
every
when we
10
pull
you
these.
open. No. Every time you open, you also get 200. Oh, if you open 10, you get 200 extra of the gold tokens. So that's another good thing. So you'll be able to collect in a second. So let's 10 more. Hopefully you get a gold. It's about a 1 in 20 chance to get a legendary. You didn't get one, but that's fine. We'll see what you got.
All right.
And then open that last one.
And another epic.
Maybe an epic you use.
Yep.
All right. So now you can collect those. There should be 2 of them. Got you some more of that. That's good. You can go spend that in the market in a second. So now Awaken. Honestly, nothing that you pulled is OMG, right? It's not
Right.
anything that's
Yeah.
crazy. But the top three there,
Let's say
and
Vrask.
maybe Frozen Banshee if you're using her,
Yeah.
they wouldn't be awful to do. So, and just for the sake of the video, you can go ahead and awaken it. So
Okay.
yeah, go ahead and awaken it.
So what is this
And that
doing
gives you a
for me?
1-star. Well, we'll get to that in a minute.
Okay.
Okay, so Vrask is awakened. The rest of them you can do on your own time, but I would
Yeah.
actually, honestly, if it was my account, I would sell all the rest. I don't think you need them.
Okay.
I don't sell them all. I do a lot of my epics, but then of course I make videos on epics all the time, so it's a little different.
Exactly.
If you're not going to do videos on epic showcases, the blessings are probably less important.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Okay.
So now click on the little champions tab up at the top there, and that'll take you directly to the champion. The champion
Yep.
you just did. So if you go to the skills tab,
Yep.
and you
Okay,
see
so
now
this
there's a
is the
blessing and it's highlighted because you got that 1-star. So now, because he's an epic, you can put any epic or rare blessing of light, dark, war, chaos. And you can just basically, if you
Okay.
choose one, you can actually read what it says. So, for example, this one, number of the champion's hits will ignore a percentage of the target's defense. Defense depends on the level of the target, right?
Gotcha.
For someone like Vrask, probably in the light, there's a rare called Miracle Heal.
Yep.
He does AoE heals on his A1 all the time, and this has a chance of restoring a portion of any destroyed max HP whenever this champion heals themselves or an ally. And it's a percentage of the heal.
Okay, gotcha.
So
So that
that's
would make
actually
sense.
not a bad little ability. Plus, at 2-star, it gives you a bonus 3,000 HP. He's an HP based champion, so that's
Yep.
good. Plus, at 4-star, gives you HP. So that's a really good one for him.
Okay.
So you can check out which ones you like. You can choose it once for free. So if whatever you choose, you can change it once for free. After that, it costs 350 gems to change.
Okay.
So just so you're aware on that. But
Makes
yeah,
sense.
for Vras, something like Miracle Heal is usually a pretty good one, especially if you're going to use him in. I've seen people use him in early Hydra, and
Okay.
so because the Hydra has a mechanic that takes away your max HP, the ability
Yeah.
to restore some of it, absolutely. Okay.
Okay. Awesome.
Cool.
Already
so
learning a lot.
So there's your, but that is the whole essence of the blessings and the
Okay.
ascension. It goes up to 6-star. The market can go, so like in my market, for example, my merchant, right, example, it's 300 of the gold, the eternal soul essences for a 6-star gold. It's 20 of the immortal soul essences for a 1-star legendary, and it just scales like that. So
Okay.
it'll go 20, 40, 150, I think, and then 4-star might be 300 of the eternal, of the immortal.
Yep.
And then at 5 and 6, I think it costs probably 100 and 300, 150 and 300 of the eternal soul essences. So it's a scaling thing. It takes a lot to save it up. For example, I have an Urticata split soul of a 6-star, and that cost me 100 of the gold or eternal soul essences. So it can add up, which is why originally I was giving it to everyone, but honestly, you probably want to only spend on those few champions, right? Because otherwise you just won't have enough.
So that's why you want to be a little bit more
as
pick
you
and
get
choosing,
those,
right?
Yeah, and it's every 50 gold tokens gives you 1 soul essence. So you have 685. You can go to the market and get a few more. Nope, market. Yep.
Okay.
And then again, your immortal soul essences, because those are what you need to buy from the market. That's why it's better. That immortal soul stone, sure, it can give you a 3 to 6-star essence, but you could get a 3-star rare that you'll never use. Whereas these immortal soul essences takes longer to stack up, but then you're picking only what you want.
Yeah, then you get to pick and choose and really fine tune what you're getting. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Exactly.
Awesome.
The second, so is there anything else about that we need to go over? I think that's pretty awesome.
No, I think that pretty much covers. It covers it all good. I got a better understanding of it because I do know, like, obviously since coming back, I've been on autopilot, right? So I've just been coming over here. I'm getting these resources from the Iron Twins. I have no clue what this thing. I have no clue how to fight the Iron Twin. I'm literally just like slotted in some champions and said, "Hey, I don't know. Let's see what happens here." You know.
There's a couple teams out there. Basically, Geomancer is the answer.
Okay.
So if you don't have Geomancer, you're gonna want Geomancer.
Yeah, and
he's the answer to everything in there.
Okay.
Oh, good. Good.
Gotcha.
You want them as a high accuracy too, because at the top level, like I think I use a 600 accuracy geo for level 20.
Oh,
Was it
okay, yeah.
25 or 20? So it gets a bit demanding, but
Gotcha. Okay, so I need to
you know,
push. I'm only at 340, so I should start focusing on getting Geo's accuracy up a bit.
yeah,
Okay. Okay.
yeah. The reflex is good though. Reflex gear
Gotcha.
is good for the tower because that gives you more chances to land his HP burn because it does have a cleanse mechanic. So
Okay.
reflex gear is great for it. Not a bad pick. It's just a matter of trying to get like an accuracy chest, accuracy banner, and then just get as many stats as you can on the rest.
Gotcha. Okay.
Like that. So those are fine. Yeah. So it's just a matter of getting those double, triple stat rolls on your accuracy.
Nice. All right.
Substats.
Exactly.
All
So
right.
I'll start focusing on that. Okay, cool. So what else? What else have I really
The
been missing since I've been gone here?
well, the Hydra boss. The Hydra boss has reinvented the game. There's a couple reasons for Hydra. Now they've actually slimmed down how hard it is on the first 3 levels of it, which is good. But the
Okay.
Hydra boss is important for 3 things.
Okay.
First reason is you get Mithrala. When you can get tokens weekly for defeating it. Those tokens then you can have um towards Mithrala when you get her. She's an amazing champion, many
Okay.
areas of the game, but most especially 3v3 arena.
Okay.
Okay. The second reason is Stone Skin. Stone Skin has changed the meta forever in the arena. Stone Skin is a 50% chance to basically you 50-50 whether you can resist it or not, a cleanse or not. So it's only half the time cleansable,
Okay.
and you've basically got this Stone Skin that takes 0 damage, like next to no damage.
Okay.
Um,
So
so it's very hard to
that's
kill
gear,
someone
right?
in Stone Skin.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
got you
and
because
it's
it's
gear.
still
Yeah.
okay.
And the third thing about, or the other thing about Stone Skin is that all levels of it give you bonus attributes. So if you put 1 piece, 2 piece, 3 piece, 4 piece, 5 piece,
Gotcha.
or
It's
6
that.
piece, we can check that. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Okay.
so there's a lot of really good teams built around Stone Skin and the ability to use Stone Skin to take on damage before then, and a go second team, which is why it has changed Arena, because Arena used to be speed meta. Now it's absolutely not.
Gotcha.
It's about survival and then counterattacking, hitting back with reaction gear, Stone Skin, and the final thing you can get from Hydra is protection gear, which I absolutely love protection gear.
Okay.
And what it does is it gives you a percentage chance to protect any buffs put on your team by that champion.
Gotcha. Okay.
Right. So
That
those
makes
artifacts
sense.
will either be Stone Skin or protection.
For
And you also
protection.
get soul
Okay.
stones now. And you get clan tokens, which you can then use in the clan shop, which we can go over because I think clan
Okay.
shop has probably been added too.
I didn't know there was a
So
clan shop.
I'll tell you what, the Hydra, how to beat the Hydra is a video into of itself. I'll
Yeah.
give you my top Hydra team is all older champions, so it can be done.
Okay.
Let me see if I'll just bring into mine and give you, for example, my Hydra team. Well, it has one champion that was probably added after you left, but it's got let's see, it's got Duchess, Cantra, Venus, Cupidus, Krisk, and Cardiel. So all but one of
Okay.
those champions is Cardiel is the one that might have been added after you left. I'm not too sure, but he's a good counterattack cleansing champion. You could replace him with other champions.
Gotcha. Yeah. See, I'm
So you
missing
can use
cardio.
old champions on this.
Okay.
The best champion in the game for this is a new champion. Her name's Acrizia. She's a dwarf that does enemy max HP on all of her hits if the enemy has more HP than her. I think, and I might be simplifying it, but basically she does ridiculous amounts of damage.
Okay. Noted.
Um,
Noted. So we'll
and
circle back.
also
We'll circle back
Nekmar.
on that.
Yeah, what you want to do is you probably want your own a separate video just for Hydra. So that's all we need to talk about Hydra. Otherwise, we'll be here for another 30 minutes.
Gotcha. Okay.
Or, well, 3 hours probably more likely. Okay.
All right. Fair. All right.
There's a lot to do with that. So then what was the next? Oh yeah, clan. So if you click your little clan button,
Yep.
there's a clan quest clan shop. So every week it resets
Okay.
and you can get these clan quests, and these clan quests for tokens. The tokens you spend in the clan shop, just a way to get extra resources. It's just nice. Oh, I got a void shard. Look at that. I got to buy a void shard.
Oh,
I had
cool.
900 sitting there. So yeah, you got 16,000. The best things to buy in this is in that number 9 slot, that artifact slot. It will drop Chaos Ore.
Okay.
That's okay. I wouldn't buy that, but if you see Chaos Ore in there, Chaos Ore is really good to buy, and
Okay.
there's can be books in there as well. So
Gotcha.
very good to purchase out of there. And then the very first one where there's silver,
Yeah.
that can also, when it resets, be energy. So very good.
Oh, which is definitely
You can
good.
also
Okay.
get Yakarl and what's her name?
Um, I forget.
Yannicka.
Yannicka. Yeah.
So those, I mean, Yannicka's a really good champion. She's a good counter champion. Not as much as she used to be, but she's still pretty good in the arena. Probably a 3v3. And then you can get a skin fragment if you want a new suit for Arbiter. So
Gotcha.
that's something they added to the game. They added skins to the game,
Okay.
mainly for purchase, but that's one of the ones you can get for free if you so
Gotcha.
want to change the looks of your Arbiter.
Okay.
Also, that accessory isn't bad. It's a reaction, or it's a 5% chance to counterattack when hit, and so you can get up to 15% counterattack. People usually use that in conjunction with some of the masteries that counterattack, which on a champion that doesn't die, so has an unkillable like Leorius
Hmm.
or Skullcrown, makes it a very
Gotcha.
annoying champion to deal with. But I don't
Okay.
buy them because I prefer saving up for the books, the shards, and the energy. But
Because
that's
these
your
other ones
obviously your
are okay. That
yeah,
makes
and they're
sense.
more expensive. So, but I mean, I have 3,200 right now. I could probably, but probably don't need to. So that's
Okay.
really the only thing. Clan Quest, Clan Shop. You can get these tokens through Hydra. You can get it through the quests. Um,
Okay.
you know, CVC I think gives you them as well. So
Nice. Okay.
option was okay. That's just a quick and easy one. And then the final, I hope, I think, is probably the most painful, and that is the if you go into dungeons, and that
This
is our
thing.
good old Sand Devil's necropolis.
Okay. So I'm
So
glad this is a pain in the butt for other people than just me. Okay. Because I can only
yeah,
make stage 8 right now.
thankfully, do you have Ninja?
Yes. I do have Ninja.
Do you have Godseeker and Eerie?
Yes.
Then you have a level 24 auto team.
Oh.
The
Okay.
stats, the equipment is tough, but those two, and I don't know if you can use them to get up to 25, but the two of
Okay.
them. So you put your, I believe you put her in the lead. You put Godseeker in the lead, and you put Ninja as the second. Here, I'll just check mine. I can't remember if I had to make an auto team for it. Yeah, I did.
Okay.
So here's for Team 24. Here are the stats for my team. My Godseeker and Area in the lead. I don't prioritize any of her skills. I have her at 53,400 HP, 5,000 defense at 263 speed. Doesn't matter. Any of the other stats don't matter. And then my
Okay.
Ninja, I have at 219 speed, 59,000 HP,
Okay.
and 510 accuracy. None of the other stats matter. And what happens
Gotcha.
is because he can detonate. So what happens is the Sand Devil does that white mechanic where he hits you for
Yeah.
really hard and then he goes to sleep. Well, Godseeker Neri has an auto ability that will revive herself. Then the first thing she'll do is revive Ninja, and then Ninja will use his HP burn detonation to do damage on the Sand Devil. And it's just rinse repeat after that. It just keeps
Okay.
doing that. So it takes 2.5 minutes, I'd say, but it's an easy way to farm up to level 24. Obviously, it can't do 25 because of affinity, but level
Okay.
24 it can do. So that is a team you'll want to. You obviously it's very intensive gear. You also have
Yeah.
to use regen gear on your champions.
Okay.
So it's not for the faint of heart, but once you get there, it makes it a very simple way to farm
Okay.
oil.
All right, and we get
So
in that. And what do I in this oil that we're getting? Where is this? Where's this
yeah,
going? What is this for?
perfect. So go to your champion screen.
Okay.
And yeah, you can click on anyone. Click on any of your artifacts, not accessories, but artifacts.
Okay.
The accessories will come later. And if you go to upgrade, you'll notice that they've got the upgrade, they've got the enchants,
Okay.
which you were in, the rework, which is the chaos ores that we talked about,
Yep.
and the ascend. And the ascend is the oils. And it'll even tell you it's 60 for Ascension 1. I think it's 80 for 2 and so on. And so what happens is, for example, this accuracy chest has a chance to ascend to any of the listed Ascension bonuses. And then it just is a way to make your gear better. The best would be if it landed accuracy, but also HP would be good, right? You know, any
Yep.
of them could potentially be good depending on how you're putting it on.
Okay.
The boots are the most painful because, yeah, you don't want flat stat essentially, but
Gotcha.
you also kind of,
So
you
so
know,
this is a bonus.
mhm.
Hey, I'm just gonna use it just for the sake
Yeah, go ahead, do
of
it.
figuring out. So this
Do one for
accuracy
the
chest.
video.
Yeah, we'll just do it this one right here. So this adds that. Okay, so I got
Boom,
so this
you
add.
got flat HP,
Okay, so now this is
but
like
you just got
a double main stat basically.
yeah. So yeah,
Okay,
exactly, and it's not bad. I mean, the reality is, if you were to put potions into this, it would give you an extra 1200 HP. It's not the best outcome. So typically, because oils are very expensive
yep,
energy wise to farm, you would probably walk away from this at level 1. It's still usable, but
yeah,
you keep trying to get the one that landed accuracy or a percentage
gotcha.
stat.
Okay, okay,
So yeah, so you got some free ones. That was your free. Now you got to go farm to get the rest.
gotcha. Okay, yeah, and I see where they changed down here, where this one could have speed and then speed.
Yeah,
So double
yeah,
speed boot would be god tier. Okay,
yeah. So my and a lot of people say the boots are most important. I disagree. I
okay,
think the most important is your gloves, because your gloves, crit damage gloves with either crit damage substat or crit rate substat, or potentially, depending on the champion, attack percentage substat. That is
got
OP. That is
gotcha.
ridiculously strong. Because, for example, I have my Baron.
Hmm.
Let me see if I can find him. Just I'll give you the proper stats on him. I have a +1 Baron who's also 2-star on his blessing, and I have his boots with extra. Their attack percent boots with speed, and I got attack percent on his crit damage, and he's sitting at about 8,300 attack now at 274 crit damage. So
Oh
he
wow.
and that, my friend, is not even. I'm the best I've seen is 9,000 attack at about 350 crit damage. So you can absolutely make these guys god tier now with
Okay,
blessings. The downside
gotcha.
is that's the only one I got, and I poured a lot, and that was the only time I got speed on an attack boot. I got flat attack on his attack percent chest, and I got attack percentage on his gloves. That's what it
Gotcha.
took, and I only got like a couple of champions that got that good. I think his helmet also got flat attack. So
Okay,
it's not fun
gotcha.
to
So it
run
takes a
these. It feels
lot
like
of
a lot.
work. Okay, yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, but it's
Yeah.
all it's all farmable though. It's all like
Yes.
okay,
Just
awesome.
yeah, energy is the only limiter on that, right? You can farm
Yep.
it to the end of time. Now, a lot of people, because there's actual advanced quest that requires you to summon it,
Yep.
level 7 for your low potions is
Mhm.
actually the most cost efficient way to get those oils. So if you're just doing level 1s, a
Yeah.
lot of people say just pour a ton of energy into stage 7 and then start doing all your gloves, all your boots that are good, and find out which ones are worth
Gotcha.
ascending before you move on and start using your mid potions and your high potions.
Makes sense. That definitely makes
So
sense. That way, not to waste
yeah,
resources, right? Okay.
yeah, it's just now. Did I do that? Of course not. But don't do what I say, not what I do.
Exactly.
Uh,
Exactly.
and I
All
think
right.
I think that's the big. So when you talk about from a day-to-day basis, what is
Mm-hmm.
the difference? The
Yeah.
biggest difference is on a weekly basis, you should be doing your Hydra runs. You'll
Okay.
probably want to do your Iron Twins daily,
Okay.
and you'll probably want to do your oils at when you're right, when you have some extra energy, when you're willing to drop
Gotcha.
overnight, put 2-3,000 energy in it. Um,
Okay.
Now it's not nothing added to the game is critical
Mm-hmm.
unless you're pushing high level Hydra and Arena. Other
Okay.
than that, honestly, everything they've added to the game is optional, and a lot of people think it isn't. But the reality is, if you never ascend a boot, you'll be fine. If
Okay.
you never ascend an artifact, but if you start wanting to do Nightmare Hydra, it makes it so much easier.
Gotcha.
And there are
Okay.
some cheat codes, and those cheat codes are champions. Which, I mean, if you want to go over all the champion, it might be a second, maybe a 20th video.
Right.
The
Okay.
other piece of good news, they've
Yeah.
added some really good. You've missed a lot of good fusions, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't, in my opinion, there's not a fusion that you missed and now you're screwed. None
Okay.
of the fusions are that level of fusion, in my opinion. There's some
Gotcha.
really, really good ones. The last fusion was really good. This one is meh. You know, but if you don't have them, it's not. There's nothing you can't do just because you didn't get that fusion.
Okay. No, and that makes sense. That's awesome. I mean, so obviously there's a lot more content for me to do now, which is kind of a plus when coming back to playing a game, right? Having a little bit more to
Yeah,
do and get more involved in, which also seems great. It also seems like there's a fusion like all the time now. Is that
yeah.
kind of
So
how it is?
yeah, so they've sped up everything in the game, and what happens now is that there's a fusion about every 6 weeks, and
Okay.
there are 2 shard events a week. And this is now they haven't come out and said it, but frankly, every weekend there's
Yeah.
either 10x followed by 2x followed by 10x. And I think when you were gone,
Yeah.
they were doing that. But they've also added weekday events on Tuesday. Now,
Oh.
it's always during CVC. So when there's clan versus clan, there's also some kind of shard event 9 out
Okay.
of 10 times. But they've also kind of done it on non-shard events too. So they like they're just trying to get you to pull more and more shards. So they're doing more and more events on those shards. So
Gotcha.
that's kind of Plarium's fun time. And it seems like every time they add a new idea for a new area, they take away good resources in order to plug in bad events. But that's
Gotcha.
that's a rant for another day, my friend.
Understandable. All right, man. Well, hey, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to kind of run me through what I've missed from Raid, as well as for any viewers who are watching this who maybe coming back to Raid and you kind of wanted a recap of like what happened, what you should be doing, how to kind of properly utilize these, even if you're a current player and you're just kind of like meh, fumbling through some things like myself, you know. Thanks so much for coming on and explaining that, man. I appreciate it.
I
Can
gotta give you
you?
one more
Yeah.
thing.
What's up?
Go to your missions because I don't know if you left before Ramontu, but Ramontu is a really good champion, so there's a good thing for you to do. Yeah, you need to work on
Okay.
that. Ramontu is an amazing champion you can use just about everywhere. So get on
Okay.
it.
Gotcha. So go get this
Yeah,
guy.
that's all I got.
Got it.
I think I caught everything. If I didn't, I'm sure they'll let you know in the comments if I missed
Awesome.
anything new they've added.
All right, man. Well, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Do you want to let everyone know where they can find you and what you're up to?
Yeah, you can find me in a back alley high on methamphetamine. I'm just kidding. You can find me at Mad Capper on YouTube, is youtube.com/madcapper, or on twitch.tv/madcapperyt. Fridays and Sundays I stream. Friday night 6 p.m. Central/Mountain, depending on daylight savings, and Sundays at 10 a.m. Same thing.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Thank you so much for coming on. And that's going to conclude it for this video, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to like and subscribe. And yeah, we will catch you on the next one. Peace.
Cheers.